Hi everyone, it's PB here, and I just thought I'd do a quick video as part of Mindset by PB. So one of the things that I wanted to discuss today that may help you in your journey or help you in your leadership challenges, or if you're someone looking to go into leadership, is the importance of mental toughness. Now, when we talk about mental toughness, it kind of comes with a stigma of, oh, I've got to be hard, I've got to have the ability to say no, I've got to be emotionally eject from certain situations, but that's not actually the case. There's a lot of people that think mental toughness comes with resilience and being born that way, but there's so many things that we can learn to achieve good standards of mental toughness. If you've never actually heard about mental toughness, then the next few minutes are going to be quite good for you, and hopefully you'll be able to go on and do a bit more study into it. I've been someone that studied this for 20 years alongside everything else to do with positive mindset, be it growth mindset, be it setting challenges, be it learning and developing myself, becoming more resilient, grit, determined, disciplined, all the things that actually link in to mindset. But I wanted to concentrate today and bring you into line with mental toughness and maybe give you a few examples of how it's helped me in my career and how it may help you in yours. So the first thing we want to start with is the model of mental toughness, and we call this the 4 C's. Now the 4 C's stand for commitment, challenge, confidence, and control. So they are the 4 C's that we want to try and master in our own life. If we just sort of like break them down into smaller segments, you'll begin to understand what it takes to actually develop in each of those areas. So someone who is committed, or if you're trying to develop your own commitment when it comes to mental toughness, is becoming someone who's delivery orientated. Now, delivery orientated means that when you start something, you finish it. You don't quit. You don't give up. You may deviate because new information has come to light, or there are speed bumps that's got in the way, but ultimately you are someone that when you actually set your target, you will see it through, be it with yourself individually or with a team. And you have to be that person that's classed as a finisher, someone that actually gets the job done. Alongside that commitment level it takes someone to actually have vision and goals. So you need to be able to set yourself those goals and be very much goal orientated. So what do you want to achieve today, tomorrow, this week, this month, this year, maybe 5 years from now? What is your vision? What is it that you'd look back on and say, I done that, I achieved it? Now, once we've set the goal and the vision, that's where the delivery orientation steps into it, because you're going to see it through. And that's how we start to develop commitment levels as part of the 4 C's. So it's important, therefore, and I could break it down even further, it's important, therefore, that we set goals that are achievable, maybe stretch us, but certainly if we are looking to always complete, always finish them through a delivery model, then they need to be goals that actually we aren't going to run away from, that we can actually get to that finish line. I mentioned about stretching yourself, and the second C that sits with mental toughness is the ability to challenge yourself. So too often, and we call this a fixed mindset. So too often with a fixed mindset, you'll have someone who has a fear of failure, doesn't really want to take risk. So we've got to actually be able to push ourselves more into a growth mindset. And a growth mindset is someone who wants to take on the challenge, wants to have a go, doesn't fear failure, actually sees failure as a learning opportunity. It doesn't stop them in their tracks, it just makes them want to try harder and better to get to successful levels. So as part of that challenging yourself, it's important that you stretch oneself. So take yourself out of your comfort zone. That's the key bit. So if you are looking at challenges that are up and coming for you, if they are easily obtainable and you can do them in your sleep, then push that marker further on. Now, in order to actually be able to challenge yourself and stretch yourself, it means we have to learn from everything. And that's the second segment that sits under the challenge. So everything is a learning opportunity, everything in life. So it's important, therefore, that we seize these opportunities with the ability to learn from them. Even when mistakes happen, what occurred? There is a great podcast that Toto Wolff, the Mercedes F1 team owner and leader, talks on. And he talks on how the strategists sit before a Grand Prix, and if they believed they had the best car, what distance would they win by? So how many seconds would they win by? Now, ultimately, when they were dominating the sport, they were winning all the races. And in most cases, when we win, we want to high-five each other and pat each other on the back. Toto Wolff wanted to actually look at it and say, okay, we predicted we would win by 30 seconds, but we actually only won by 10 seconds. So let's have a debrief and learn where the 20 seconds that we predicted from disappeared from. And that keeps everybody's focus and challenge on, actually, although we won, did we hit the goal that we wanted to achieve? So that commitment level falls into it. And it's really interesting. It's on the High Performance podcast. So if you are someone that listens to podcasts, then have a listen of that. If you're somebody that's not really into podcasts, challenge yourself, listen to a few. You might just like it. It's all part of that challenging process. Okay, the next one is a big one. It's confidence. Okay, we've all heard of things like imposter syndrome, where you feel like there are more qualified people in a room than you, that you shouldn't be there, that you got there by chance or by luck. Just to let you know, everybody in life suffers from imposter syndrome. Don't let anybody fool you. But someone who's got good mental toughness will see that as part of the challenge. Now, someone that's got high levels of confidence is someone who is really interpersonal. So they're happy to go in and talk about themselves. You know, doing this video to you takes an interpersonal confidence. There's a chance that no one watches this. If you are watching this, then give us a comment below. But I could get fixated on the fact that only 3 people viewed this video. But ultimately, that shouldn't knock my confidence, because I've done this video in the hope that it helps someone. And if it helps only 3 people that decided to view it, and in those 3 people, they go on to be better versions of themselves, create stronger mental toughness, then this video was well worth 10 minutes of my time creating it. So I would never look at it as a failure. And confidence in your abilities to do this. Again, sitting in front of a phone and recording this down and giving you a little bit of my knowledge in this subject. I have to have an element of confidence. And when I walk into a room, be it in a business meeting, I have to have confidence. If I step on the stage in a men's physique bodybuilding competition, I have to smile and have confidence. Now, sometimes that may be sort of inside. I may have actually been worrying about that moment, but that's the bit where learning from everything comes into play, because I will practice until I'm able to get on the stage and talk to a conference of 3,000 people, or go into a one-to-one and assist and help somebody from a consulting perspective, or meet with lawyers and bankers and investors in relation to the business, and have the confidence that they are going to understand what it is that I'm trying to achieve, and they're going to buy into it. So confidence is a big thing, and having that confidence in yourself, honestly, it is the best flowering mechanism out to everybody, because if people see that you're confident about you, then they will become confident within you, and they'll be happy to be led by you. If they see a lack of confidence in you, a lack of not knowing, a lack of goals, a lack of ambition, a lack of pushing yourself, then they're unlikely to follow you. You are not going to influence them, and the important thing is that you do influence them. Now, the last C when it comes to the 4 C's, remember we looked at commitment, we've looked at challenge, we've looked at confidence. The last C is control. The ability to control yourself, life control, creating good habits. Habits that actually will help you in the other 3 areas, or help you get to where it is that you want to be. Now, life control is very difficult because that's things that in life, things can come at you from a side wind. They can smack you straight in the face, they can knock you down, but having that ability to keep control all the time, to de-stress a situation, to try and take emotion out of it, is the ability to actually look at patterns and facts and data and your way of you've responded to it. It's a way to actually keep a control on yourself. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you 7 tips that are actually going to help you in order to create that life control and the other areas of mental toughness. Emotional control falls onto this as well. If you react very poorly to something, very irrationally to something, and there is no clear message in why you're acting that way, then ultimately you're influencing the responses of everybody else. You're creating the atmosphere and the problem. So being able to keep emotional response contained, being able to be the calmest person in the room, being able to ask the questions that need to be asked, or listen to the answer when asking the question, is so important when it comes to actually keeping hold of that emotional control. Now, as you can see, I've got blue skies behind me. I'm actually over here in Spain with 12 other of the boys, and we're on an annual golfing trip. So they've come out to Spain with me, and they've actually gone off and they've played golf 3 times this week. Now, at night, when they come back in, they've been straight out to the restaurants for dinner, and they've been straight out for drinks afterwards. Some of them getting a little bit too much alcohol into the system when I see them the next day. Now, I've withdrawn myself from the golf because I had work to do while I was over here. We've sold one of the properties, so I need to do all the legal side. And my schedule is quite busy, so getting back out to Spain in the next couple of weeks would have been tough. So I made the decision that I would withdraw from the golfing days, put somebody else in place, and I would get all the jobs done that I needed to get done. I'm also in prep because in 5 weeks' time I'm on the stage in Southport for the Northwest Championships of men's physique for the Masters over 45. So, and I know you may not understand what prep is, but it means that you're so very contained to your meals and your training program. It's so disciplined, probably the most disciplined thing I've ever done in my entire life when you go into prep. It also means no alcohol. So I've withdrawn myself from going to the restaurants and going out for the drinks afterwards. It may make me sound very boring. It may make me sound sort of like socially inclusive, not including myself in the activity, but that's a decision I made, and it takes an unbelievable amount of control, be it in life control or emotional control, because I have a goal and I can't allow this weekend to scupper it. That said, I'm still here and I'm still meeting up with them and having good conversations, but ultimately I've got to make sure I do what I need to do in order to hit my goals and my ambition. Now, within those 4 C's, we can sort of start to look at the segments and break them down a bit further, because we actually need to make sure that we have good grit. And grit is what's going to get us through when we build it up. Our emotional control and our delivery orientation, because you're going to need grit. You're going to face serious challenges. You're going to try and, there's going to be people that try and derail you, but you need grit and determination to see it through. You need a mindset of aspiration. And the aspiration is going to fall under that goal orientation and that stretching yourself. So you can see how they're starting to interlink. You need to become good at engaging, because engaging with people in terms of interpersonal confidence or confidence in your own abilities will allow you the opportunity to develop those strengths, make you become more resilient to it. And self-efficacy is what we need in terms of life control and emotional control. So having mental toughness, being able to do things outside your comfort zone, being able to deal with situations much better, in a way that makes you stronger, makes you more adaptable, makes you more liked, makes you more respected in your position, controlled, will help in your leadership and management styles all day long, and it's too often overlooked. This is something you should be practicing continuously, and there's many mental toughness tests that you can do out there. I may pop one in the comment link to this, to actually see where your strengths and your weaknesses are in this, because we're going to have to develop all those areas. So those 4 C's are critically important. Now, I mentioned there's 7 steps in which you can start to work on that's going to help in all these areas, particularly in life control. The first step, I would say, is mindfulness, being able to develop your mindfulness. Now, when we talk about mindfulness, we're talking about to take yourself out of a situation, calm yourself down, relax a little bit, and start to understand, how is this process working, why has this happened, and what can we do about it. Now, that may be that you take yourself off for a walk or a swim, or whatever your hobby is, whatever you do in your life that actually takes you away from a pressurized situation and allows you to calm down, allows your breathing rate to come back down. And there's many techniques out there for mindfulness and breathing, related to breathing, related to meditation, that you can actually practice and develop in these areas. So it's worth having a look. I would not rule out anything, because it's not a one-sized shoe that fits all on this. It's something that will work for you. So that's a bit, again, when we go back to challenge yourself, always challenge yourself to take on something that you actually don't think that you would have enjoyed or liked, because you never know, and you can always come back to it. I use my fitness for that. So I make sure that I get my training schedules in. My training schedules are completely different from my work. They're completely different from my family. It is my time. And whilst I have concentration on my training at that moment in time, be it in the gym or doing my cardio or my nutrition or my hydration, or planning everything out for the week in relation to that, it just allows me to come away from certain situations, relax, and then when I'm ready to switch back on and focus on those situations, I can get it. Often when I'm doing my cardio, I come up with so many solutions. And I've always said, in all the different businesses I've created, most of them were actually created lying by a swimming pool with a book and a pen, because that's when my brain relaxed so much that actually allowed me to think properly. So mindfulness is very important. I always say work with professionals as well. So working with professionals means like-minded people, and I would like to often put out there people that have been there and done that. So I always say, when it comes to consultants, I would only ever talk to a consultant who has actually been through what it is that you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to go through. I see college or university lecturers teaching entrepreneurship or business management, business studies, who've never actually had a business in their life. And I often wonder at that point, and please, I know I may upset a few people here, but this is just my thoughts. I often wonder is, how can you know that the theories that you are teaching work in practice? How have you tested them? And often, a lot of the successes I have had in my businesses have been the result of a lot of failures that have occurred over time in my businesses. So I always say that success never comes without failure, which is why we learn from everything. So if you are someone that's actually wanting to achieve something, be a fitness goal, then find someone that's actually been through a similar journey to you, if you are or wanting to go on. If it's in business, look at the particular aspect of what it is that you're trying to develop in that business, and find someone who's practiced in it or been there and done it. And when you're searching out for a consultant, it's important that you actually ask that question, because there's no point being consulted by someone who's read the book and now wants to teach you the book. Yeah, they have to be somebody who read the book, practiced the book, found out what worked, what didn't, because ultimately with a consultant, they should be fast tracking you past the pitfalls that they found themselves, or the pitfalls they've had with other clients. And that's why you're paying them the money. Keep a journal. I'm a big believer in this. Now, it's not that I necessarily want to keep journals for the sake of keeping journals, or I love to write, but in the main, it's my reflection time. And when I put pen to paper, I'm able to analyze how the day's gone. Did I achieve what I wanted to achieve? And start to let my brain figure out what what was successful, what wasn't successful, and why. What do I need to now concentrate on? Where is my strength, my weakness? And that may not be with just me, that may be with the team. So keeping a journal, I often do mine at night, just before I go to bed. I find it helps me a little bit with my sleeping pattern, because it allows me to unload everything from here onto onto a piece of paper, and I can go back to it tomorrow and have a look through it. So I'm a big believer in keeping a journal, and I would recommend you do it. It will definitely help with your mental toughness. Practice self-compassion. Too often, so that's step 4. Practice self-compassion. So too often we want to beat ourselves up. You know, why? I was a big hater on myself for many a year. But ultimately, sometimes you've got to look back and say, look at what I've achieved, look at what I've done. And sometimes goals that are in the far forward, we might never ever achieve them. But if we get halfway there, we're halfway better than where we were when we first started. And that's a key thing in all of this. So don't be frightened to pat yourself on the back. Talk positive thoughts to yourself, not negative thoughts. Negative thoughts will do you no good whatsoever. Negative practice is only going to depress you and derail you. A positive talk is going to influence you and motivate you to actually have another goal, to try and keep going, to keep achieving, which again falls under that 4 C's when it came to commitment and being delivery orientated. Get yourself out of your comfort zone. Okay, we talked about this earlier, and it's so important. So step 5, get yourself out of your comfort zone. You are someone who can achieve greatness. Now, your greatness may be different to my greatness or someone else's greatness. We're not all going to be Olympic athletes. We're not all going to be billionaires. But you can still be great in your own life. Be it a great mom, a great dad, a great granddad, a great leader, a great influencer. There is an area in your life where you can be great at it, but you've got to step out of that comfort zone and have a goal. So that comes back to that challenging yourself. I'd love it if somebody would write in the comments here that they want to do a challenge, be it a Tough Mudder or a 5K or a 10K run, or they're going to sign up to the gym. I get these messages all the time on my Facebook or on my Instagram where someone says, I've been watching your story and I've joined the gym. That's fantastic, right? They haven't even thought about joining a gym. They're taking themselves out of their comfort zone. And I promise you, I will help you as much as I possibly can if you reach out to me. Step 6 that you need to practice is daily routines. Now, daily routines basically means that you are actually going to condition your body, your mindset, into this is what we must do at set times in a day. And I've spoke plentiful about this. If you watch some of the previous videos, you will see. But develop daily routines. So wake up if you can at the same time each morning. Have that routine set as to what you do. If you're someone that wakes up and you want to go to the gym at that point, then go to the gym. If you're someone that wants to check your emails, then check your emails at that moment in time. Wherever you're most productive. Having breakfast, a critical thing. I was someone that never had breakfast. Now I couldn't miss breakfast. So setting daily routines, the time you wake up, the time you go to bed. Recovery is so important. The time you switch your emails off and switch off from work. And even at a weekend, don't stop those daily routines. If you get up at 6 a.m. during the week and that's a daily routine, you've got it, then you have to continue that on a Saturday and a Sunday. I know some of you are going to say, sod off, that's my rest day. But you're setting a different routine, therefore, for the weekend, which may be fine in terms of it's the way that you practice things, but you're not actually allowing your brain to work out what is our routine here. When you have routine-based systems, you will find that your day becomes much more productive and much more effective. And step 7 is keep connections strong. Now, what I mean by keep connection strong is your support work around you, the network. Now, there is lots of people that's going to come into your life, be it family, be it friends, be it work colleagues, be it business associates, very negative towards you. They are doing you no good. Do not allow them into your inner circle. You have to create a network of people around you that are going to support you, motivate you, and when you feel like giving up, when you feel like you can't go on, they're going to kick you right up the arse and get you back on track. They're good listeners, but they are also productive tellers. And you listen to them because you trust and respect them. So make sure you have a good network of people around you. I know this video has probably gone on a lot longer than what I'd anticipated, but I did want to actually just bring across what mental toughness is like. And if you concentrate on those 7 steps of mindfulness, work with professionals, keep a journal, practice self-compassion, get out of your comfort zone, develop your own daily routines, and keep your connection strong, you will start to find that those 4 C's fall into place. If you have any questions, bang them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. But hope you enjoyed this little take on mental toughness, and hope it helps you develop your mental toughness. I've been PB. See you soon.